You are now watching the best show in the universe. It is called The Anthony Rogers Show. You probably wish that this was your show. But it is not your show. It is The Anthony Rogers Show. Tell everyone you know to watch this show. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the universe. Today we have Dan Turtan from At Eaze Extracts. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Dan runs a CBD company out of South City. Is that where you're from?
Actually, I grew up in St. Charles area, specifically O'Fallon, but now I reside out of Manchester area.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, local company out of St. Louis, CBD and stuff. What does somebody not know about CBD just like a layman, like listening to this or myself, even like what's like a little known thing about CBD that is interesting? Because you're probably obsessed with it. It's your business, like.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that kind of sticks out in particular is this misconception, because there's no formal regulation, that this is just the Wild West. And in many ways it is, if you don't know what you're looking for. For example, we adhere to 5-panel testing, and now actually are starting to do 7-panel testing on all of our products. So that includes what is actually in our products, so the efficacy, how much CBD, and we do the terpene profile. We also focus on pesticides, residual solvents, and any other kind of microbial threat that could be potentially present in the plant. So we really go above and beyond to ensure that you're getting something clean. Whereas, for example, I just learned this a couple of weeks ago. Wine, for example, can have up to, I believe, 65 different additives in it. Had no clue. And I just thought that is very ironic, considering, how much thought has to go into what we do every single day. And also just to keep up with laws and regulations in that form or fashion as well.
Yeah, it sounds super obvious after you said that. Like I wouldn't have thought of that until you said that, but that's definitely a good point. Like I think keeping all the stuff, keeping it pure, I guess, like a pure form without all the pesticides and stuff. So when did you start this company?
We started in December of 2017. I had gone to something called the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans, or EBV program. It was formed by Syracuse University Entrepreneurship School, and they have since set up satellite schools around the United States. And I think like Florida State University, and the one I did was at University of Missouri or Mizzou. And it's a 6 to 8 day program for veterans who may have had some disability issues and are interested in entrepreneurship. And I went to that in June of 2017, and I really have a plan per se on what kind of entrepreneurial pathway I wanted to do. I just knew I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And while I was there, it's kind of ironic how things happen. There was, at the end of every night, we would go to the rooftop bar and we'd have a couple drinks, and we were just kind of socializing, kind of getting to know each other. Because like I said, we're all from all over the place. And one thing kept happening over and over again, and it was bringing up the conversation about me and my cannabis consumption. I, for example, had used it for pain management and some sleep issues I had, and had just been experimenting since about 2012, just after I had gotten out, and started sharing those experiences and that information with all these guys, and they just kept asking questions. So then by the third night, one of them, I'll leave his name out for now, he had came to me and said, "Hey man, I haven't been sleeping in over a year and a half. I have, albeit my relationship with my wife kind of went downhill. I'm having relationship issues with my friends and family. And this has been going on for about a year and a half." And he was putting cardboard boxes over his windows and was only going out for grocery shopping. That was it. And he said, "Do you think cannabis could help?" I said, "It might. It could also backfire for you. I don't know what way it will go for you, but if you want to try it, I'd be more than happy to help you out and guide you as best as I can." And so he said, "Yeah, sure." So that night I had packed him a little bowl and a pipe, and told him exactly what to do. I said, "Go take 1 to 2 hits. And if you have any issues, call me, wait 15 minutes. If you feel nothing, take 1 to 2 more hits. And again, just keep me in touch if you need anything." He never called me that night. Everything went normal. Next morning in class, he comes in crying. and comes up to hug me and goes, "Hey man, last night was the first night I had slept in like I said, over a year and a half. But in particular, it was the first night that he was putting the cardboard up in the hotel that we were staying in. I had no idea he was doing this. He said it was the first night he took the cardboard down and just watched like as the sun went down. He couldn't actually see the sun, but the sun was going down and he could just be okay with the window being open and seeing the outside. And that's when I realized that there's something here, something for me to have these conversations with other veterans or anybody who's looking into plant medicine. And, you know, disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I am not to the extent of that level of professional, but I have almost 9 years experience with this plant and researching and studying as well. And so I've done my due diligence. And so when I helped this gentleman, after the next couple of days in the class, I just kind of came back with this idea to my wife about what I wanted to do. And so I started to share that with some other veterans and other friends, some other people who had some like anxiety or health issues. And one thing led to another. And I just started seeing probably up to about 60 or so people I knew all having good results or finding that their life was better from it. I was like, this is the path we want to take. So about 6 months later, in December 2017, we started the company and have kind of hit the ground running ever since, man. Sorry for the long-winded. I can kind of talk sometimes. So
no, it was interesting though. Yeah, I would have cut in. It was interesting, man. Like that's a cool story, kind of like good beginning. I think I've smoked weed since I was like 16, so I take everything you just said for granted. Like like basically, I don't even think about it. But you're right. Yeah, no, it definitely it definitely has like synthetic happiness for people that are depressed. I could see that being positive. Is CBD good for that too, without the psychoactive ingredient, or is it just like is that just more good for body typically?
yeah, great question. So typically with CBD or cannabidiol, you see it. You see it as a good starting point for a lot of people who are like, hey, you know what, maybe like you, for example, hey, I smoked a handful of times when I was in high school or growing up with my friends, or maybe it became a habit after that. But a lot of people, they don't have a lot of experience with it. So what we try and do is say, hey, CBD is a good starting point. It may or may not address anything that you're looking for, but this will at least kind of get you in the right direction. And so for a lot of people, we see people with arthritis, including rheumatoid arthritis, neurological issues, such as oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank here. I apologize. We just had a dog recently who had vertigo and a head tilt, and this is literally about 4 days ago. That the vet had told them that this dog's head will never straighten out, and they're never going to have going to be back to normal. They've been taking our product for 3 days. The head straightened out. The dog is walking around just fine, is eating again. I literally have still on my phone the text messages from the individuals sharing this with me. So it's crazy to see how many people this can impact. But it also is a good place to start. I do, want people to know that people with like severe trauma or PTSD issues are probably going to start looking more towards a THC base as well. But for people for aches, pains, minor anxiety, sleep issues, and things like that, this is a very good starting point.
Yeah, it's good just putting your drink sometimes too, just to relax and stuff. Like just put a couple the droplet's great for that.
Yeah.
And they have like good CBD beer too. I've had too, like Mangia Italiano. I got on a Grand out there. Like he used to have like CBD drinks. That's how I started drinking that stuff. I'm not like I don't have a lot of pain or anything. Otherwise, I'd utilize it way more. But it's good just to use, even if you don't. Sometimes just to relax and stuff. Like so, even if there's not like a need for it, it's pretty good too. I think it's just like a chill thing,
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, every mammal has an endocannabinoid system, and so the endocannabinoid system helps kind of regulate all the other systems within the body. Now, this is where my science specifics is going to go a little astray here. But by doing so, people that take CBD or even some THC as a daily supplement do start to see their overall health and well-being start to improve, lower inflammatory issues, even from minor aches and pains to just a daily workout, for example. So you see a lot of athletes using it for recovery, especially in like the CrossFit era and things like that.
It's interesting. Yeah, I could see that. So you said you had some products like with you, like or the show, like I guess, and talk about or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, from our website or at some of the farmers markets that we work with, we have some topicals. For starters, this is our muscle salve. As you can see right here, it's 1,500 milligrams. It has a little bit of menthol, so it gives a cooling sensation. And we usually recommend that for individuals who, for example, I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, 3 hip surgeries. I was prescribed 300 Percocets a month and over 600 ibuprofen a month by the VA
That'd
to,
kill your kidneys. That should destroy your
right,
fucking kidneys. It's insane.
for my pain management. And
That's
I just thought
crazy.
this, and that was when I was 26. I'm 35 now, and this was supposed to be for the rest of my life. And so that's how I kind of ended up experimenting with cannabis in 2012 anyways. But for
Interesting.
example, this topical for me, whenever I'm having any lower back pain or shoulder issues, I always put it on before I go to sleep at night. That menthol and that cooling sensation kind of helps me relax a little bit, but it really helps a lot with my shoulder. And I sleep on it funny, and I still play hockey and dabble in jujitsu a little bit. So I always have something a little bit beat up with me. Another one we have is our body cream. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is there's no menthol. And what we usually recommend that to people is for any kind of skin conditions, whether like a sunburn or any kind of like eczema, or any individuals who are going to use it for like arthritis issues, so like in their hands or on their face, as well as we've had a lot of females that use it like at night as a moisturizer for their face and as just as a daily use, and it does a great job there as well. But this is kind of my pride and joy. This is our pet tincture right here. It is a 500 milligram pet tincture, and the reason that's really kind of near and dear to my heart is I was a military working dog handler in the Marines for 5 years, and having that relationship with dogs and working with dogs is something that will forever be with me. It was such an honor and a privilege to get to work with canines and see the capabilities of what they can do, and just to have experienced the things I did, and to kind of build off of that. We donate 10% of all of our pet product sales to a local 501c3 called Dogs for Our Brave. Now, they're a neat 501c in that they help veterans get paired with service dogs, but they also rescue these dogs from local and regional shelters. So not only are they helping the veteran, but they're also helping save this animal's life. And they go through about 18 months of training. And then this could be a guide and assist dog, or an anxiety or PTSD response dog, and just go through a series of different kinds of training. And what we end up doing is what's really unique about them is they cover all the costs for food and veterinary bills for the life of the dog, and any travel and ongoing training, because they have to do annual training with this and certifications. So there's no cost incurred for the for the veteran. And so that was something that was I thought was a really unique opportunity to partner with them. So 10% of all of our sales of our pet products goes to them. And we also have people tinctures as well. I have one right here. This is our raspberry 2,000 milligram. We have a 1,000 milligram, 2,000 milligram, and a 4,000 extra strength. And that's dosaged at 33 milligrams of CBD per. But enough about the sales spiel, man. I'm sure you got a million more questions for me. I could talk for days on these.
That was cool. I saw you had CBD gummies too. Those looked interesting. What are those like?
Yeah, so we actually used a unique blend for all of 2020 on our CBD gummies. That was a BOA X strain, which was really good for sleep relief, especially a lot of people with insomnia. And we had a great deal of success with them. Unfortunately, the manufacturer we partnered up with, the confection team, they went out of business during the COVID epidemic in 2020. And so we have spent the last 4 months or so trying to source our gummies new partner. I'm happy to announce you're actually the first person I'm really telling. Here in about 2 weeks, we'll have our gummies back on track and offered on our website. They're wonderful. It's just another way to deliver the product. Some people prefer it. They have a good little sweetness, very mild, earthy taste from the hemp as well. and also a good dosage, a little bit more controlled, if you will. Some people aren't a big fan of droppers and just like to have the food, or don't want to vape and things like that.
Nice. If you're watching this on YouTube, will be his website will be in the info for At Eaze, and then if you're listening on audio, will be also like in the info, but different info sections. And no, cool. Is there any social media you want to throw out or anything like that before we get under? Or, like, where should people? Like, you have an Instagram and some other stuff. Like, what?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Eaze, EAZE extracts.com. Sorry, my cat decided to drop by here all of a sudden. And we're also on Facebook, as well as you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk about this, man. Yeah, if you want to check out At Eaze Extracts, just like look him up in the info section. We'll have his Instagram in there too and stuff. And just buy all his stuff. Make this man a billionaire, if you could.
Just help me help veterans, man. That's what I want more than anything. I appreciate it, and thank you so much, Anthony, for your time. I appreciate it.